Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe they told me that I would never make it? Now we smiling in their faces, smiling in their faces.
Whatever it is. And to this day, I think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, did I really win a championship? And you hear the noise.
Welcome back to Tyler Rose TV. For today's video, hot off the press, Anthony Davis. He's claiming that his bubble ring doesn't feel like a real championship. Now, many people have questioned the legitimacy of the bubble ring. The media, fans, but actual players from the team? Now that's different. So I want to say this. I count it as a championship, but I don't respect it as a championship. And I'll dive into that later. But it's interesting that players from the team had something to say. And then before I get into the Anthony Davis clip, let's just remind you what Alex Caruso had to say after winning his championship with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Championship is a championship, but there were 70 people in the gym when you won your first one.
Yeah.
How much better?
Probably like 150, but
maybe 100, maybe even 200. But
maybe.
How much better does this one feel?
Yeah, now I got a real one. Now nobody can say anything.
As you can see, he has a real one now. So he's no longer looking, right, and analyzing his championship as, man, did I really win one? Now, things are interesting here, but they take even more of a twist and turn when we get into what Anthony Davis told one Draymond Green on his podcast. So let's get into that video.
To win a championship.
Yep.
What was that experience like? Going to the bubble. You're going to the bubble, but you win a championship. So you get the thing that you want ultimately,
Yeah.
right? Like we all want that championship. That's what we're all striving for. That's ultimately why you left New Orleans, go to Los Angeles for a chance to compete for a championship. And you feel the best thing you ever felt. But then you also don't get to kind of celebrate it the way you've always watched someone celebrate a championship or how you envision. Talk to me about the emotions of actually doing it, but then not quite getting the proper celebration and where it leaves you as far as championships go today.
Yeah, man, I talk about this a lot. I actually just talking about this 2 days ago too, right before we played Brooklyn. And that was the whole reason. That was the whole goal, leaving New Orleans. I wanted to compete for championships. Leave New Orleans, get to LA, and by far the best team that I've been on, since then, at that time. And as we're playing, to start the season, we kicking ass. We like #1 in the West. And then COVID happens and we stop. Go to the bubble. We don't know what to expect, right? I don't know what's going to happen, how the game's going to go, because we had way more games left than what we actually played in the bubble. But they kind of just, cut it down. So we were playing.
Y'all just hear that? They had a lot more games left in the season. They cut it down when they went to the bubble. These are the things that people are analyzing as they say, I don't count it as a legitimate ring. All right, I'm letting him finish. Just wanted to point that out.
And, go through the whole run and, we win. And at that moment, I feel like I've accomplished everything, right? I accomplished. Why did I come to LA? To win a championship. My first year, I get it done, right? I'm in a corner, sitting on a little bench thing, wherever the thing is in front of the bench. I'm crying, and I'm just sitting there, just soaking it all in. Like, damn, this shit really happened. Like, I'm really an NBA champion. You get the confetti and you got the champagne in the locker room. Like, my dad's back there. He enjoyed. Like, it's a great time. My family's there. My wife's there. My daughter. Like, it's beautiful. You go back home. I go back to LA. I got the trophy with me. I'm like, yeah, but we knew that we wasn't having a parade, right? And that's the one thing that I missed the most. Like, we couldn't get the full experience of winning a championship when you get the parade, the fans come out, you on the stage and you get to say a speech, like you're drunk, you're having fun, like whatever it is. And to this day, I think about that. right? Like, man, did I really win a championship? And you hear the noise, which to me is probably the hardest championship to ever accomplish.
No, it's not.
But for me, I also feel like I know I'm a champion, but I want the real experience, right? So which is why it's like I want to compete so bad. I want to compete for a championship so bad because I want to go on the road. I want to go into now I'm Eastern Conference, now Western Conference team, arena, and got to win on the road. I want that. I remember the playoff times in New Orleans and after COVID, the playoff environments in LA where, we played y'all in New Orleans and it's all red in there and the crowd is loud and they cheering for you and everything like that. So like, I want that. And I've never had a chance to experience that in a final situation, right? And for me, it's like, damn, did I win? Did I not win? Like, I know I'm listed as a champion, but it's like, I'm not sure. So it motivates me more now to like, you know what? I gotta have that opportunity again. Win, lose, or
yeah, I got news for you, brother. That's not coming when you're playing with the Washington Wizards. All right, so I got a lot to say. Stay tuned, guys. So probably the most notable thing about the whole bubble is that Anthony Davis was an injury-prone player at the time. Now, a lot of people say, the Lakers were the number 1 seed at the time, and, before COVID happened, they were the number 1 seed. Okay, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy, but Anthony Davis having all those months off and then going into the bubble, playing less games in the bubble, that really was an advantage because the very next season, Anthony Davis only played 36 games. So after he had a half a season cut in half, then went to have 3 months off, then he goes into the bubble, plays a game. The next season, he's 36 games. So his body wasn't capable of holding up 36 games after he had a half of a season or 3 to 4 months of rest. I can't rely on that for a championship run. And I'm not going to sit there and just pick at that. There's more to get at. So there's no pressure in pickup basketball. When you're playing in the same gym, there's no home crowd advantage. There's no travel. There's no fans. There's no pressure. What do we know about players who've never been in the finals is that there's pressure. And even players that have been in the finals, there's still pressure. Now, I'm not going to say a crowd is going to make somebody nervous at this level, but you don't know what really entails into the mind of players who've never been on this stage at this big moment. And that pressure is not there when you're not playing with the NBA Finals crowd and that pressure and that atmosphere, that playoff, the altitude in Denver when you played against Denver and that Western Conference Finals, that affects your conditioning. As you can see, there's a lot of things to it. Also, what I really wanted to mention is that the experience from the players are from the players, and they're not from just media. So what that tells me is that not just the media and the fans criticize the championship, but the actual players are criticizing it. Now, you talk about celebration. You talk about a trophy, the parade. These are the things that are part of the culture of winning sports in America. We have parades. We go out and we celebrate with the fans of the hometown. You didn't get that experience. You didn't get the home crowd experience. You didn't get the fact that you're traveling on the road and you're winning big games on the road. These are the kind of the milestones that kind of shape a great team. But the most notable thing, besides the fact that Anthony Davis got away with having half of a season that he didn't play, and then the next season he plays 36 games because he's an injury-prone player, is that they never went back to the NBA Finals. Now you can say, they got rid of Danny Green and Bradley and JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. That's why. No. Those guys were great role players, but they still had KCP. They still brought some guys back that were pretty good. Now my thing is, if this wasn't a fluke, if the bubble wasn't a fluke, then why didn't they go back to the NBA Finals ever again? Of course, they got close to it, but they couldn't beat Denver in a traditional setting. Like when there's a regular season and then there's a playoff, Joker swept LeBron and AD, and then he 4-1 them. So he's playing against his team that he can't get over the hump with. But in the bubble, they were able to get over the hump. I'm not taking away the fact that they won an NBA championship. They won a championship, and they didn't create the circumstances they had. They went into the bubble. They played against the teams that were there, and that was that. But I will say one thing to finish this off was that NBA Finals, it was probably one of the least watched finals I could remember. That Miami Heat team was, I mean, it wasn't the greatest team. The best matchup was definitely that Denver series. You know, it goes to show you they did beat the best teams to get to that point. But that NBA Finals was not a good Finals, man. And well, you can say what you want, but most fans and most people that watch basketball will always kind of put an asterisk next to the bubble ring. And as you can see, even the players simply agree. So that's all I really got to say. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. This is Tyler Rose TV. Guys, I appreciate you for watching and subscribing and commenting and liking. It really means a lot to me, man. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I can see you guys on the next episode. So hit that subscribe if you're new. And I'm going to see y'all. Peace.